Okay, it's being live streamed. Got it. We should be okay. Paul, can you hear me? Paul's...
Yes, Dr. Karen, we could hear you.
Yes.
Okay, great. We had a little different.
Live in person.
Good. So you're going to be, oh boy, remote. Okay. So let's start with prayer and be thankful that we all made it online and we're good to go. So thank you, Lord, for getting us here on time and getting through the technical problems we had. We lift up Gabby as she is healed this evening. And Lord, I lift up the students that each one will receive what you have them to receive this evening. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. We're on part 3, the valuable pieces, how to use the personality puzzle in your workplace. And then we're going to be doing chapters 15, 16, and 17 tonight. But before we go into tonight's lesson, for the graduate students who have to write a summary for each chapter, just for chapter 19, you still have to write a summary for all the other chapters. But for chapter 19, practicing the personality puzzle, which is quite long, instead of writing a summary, which I think you'll be pleased to hear since it is a long chapter, I want you to write a description of your, I was seeing if that was on the screen. We're still having a little technical problem without Gabby being here tonight. For chapter 19, write a description of your job with an insight of understanding the personality puzzle. You'll understand that when you read chapter 19. Good, thank you. Use the example that is on page 169 in writing your description, because that'll give you understanding of what I'm asking you to write. Also include 3 weaknesses where you need to improve. And then the graduate students, I'd like for you to bring that into class next week. For the undergraduate students, this will not be required, but I would like you to do the same thing. You'll still have to take the test, but I strongly urge you to do on chapter 19, write a description of your job with an insight of understanding the personality puzzle. Same thing, use the example that is on page 169 in writing your description. And then include 3 weaknesses where you need to improve. This is applying the information that we've been learning. Some of you may not have a job outside of the home. We have all some sort of job, therefore we all can do this. Does anyone have any questions? Then we're going to start with chapter 15, the valuable, powerful choleric. It says, appreciate me. And that's one thing I really want you to remember. The emotional needs of a powerful choleric is work or accomplishment. They need to be productive. In fact, they are highly productive. Whereas the perfect melancholy can be at peace with themselves, just knowing that they've done a good job. The powerful choleric needs appreciation for all of their work. If they do not get the appreciation they need, they will work harder and accomplish more in hopes that others will notice. They need, just like the popular sanguine, praise, praise, praise. Like the popular sanguine, they have a high energy level and are always trying to reach a goal. In fact, once they meet one goal, they are looking toward and planning the next one. We've talked about me being a powerful choleric. I once was concerned that I would run out of things to do. Just like the popular sanguine, they work harder when their work is acknowledged and appreciated. Do not, and I emphasize, do not keep a powerful choleric boss waiting. Also, if you have a powerful choleric boss, keep them aware of the fact that you are producing. They are busy producing and therefore are not looking over your shoulder. Some people like that. They place a value on people by how they produce. If you want to look valuable to your employer who is a powerful choleric, let them know that you are producing and meeting their goals. A powerful choleric and a peaceful phlegmatic often do not get along, as the powerful choleric will view the peaceful phlegmatic as lazy. The powerful choleric often feels that they are doing all of the work while the peaceful phlegmatic is sitting around being relaxed. The example in the book was a married couple where the woman was the powerful choleric married to a peaceful phlegmatic, with the latter taking early retirement to devote more time to golf. She was more than slightly irked that he did nothing while she did all the work. In reality, she did not have to do all the work, but as a typical powerful choleric, she loved challenges and actually would feel guilty if she relaxed. In counseling her, they were able to show that it was really a personality problem where she learned to accept her husband as he was and be grateful he did not complain about her compulsive need to be in control. And I've talked about my husband and I, where I'm the powerful choleric. His secondary is the peaceful phlegmatic. And we've had to realize what they were talking about in the book, how I do a lot of the work and it seems like he does a lot of the relaxation. But I like to be kept busy and doing things, but we also have to remember busyness is not of the Lord. In summary, if you work with a powerful choleric, understand their needs for appreciation, achievement, and praise. You and the powerful choleric both will be much happier. Any questions on chapter 15? We're going to continue then with chapter 16. We're going from the powerful choleric, which we just talked about, and we did talk a little bit about the valuable, peaceful, phlegmatic. Respect me. And this gets very interesting. Peaceful phlegmatics' emotional need is respect and feelings of self-worth. Here lies the problem. They do the opposite of what all the other three personalities value. Example, popular sanguines gauge people by how fun and exciting they are. Since peaceful phlegmatics don't actually create fun and excitement, popular sanguines tend not to value peaceful phlegmatics. Next, perfect melancholies appreciate people who have life organized and are deep and thoughtful. And remember, the perfect melancholies do tend to be very deep. Since peaceful phlegmatics tend to float through life and may never boast about having it all together, perfect melancholies may not respect a perfect phlegmatic. And then we have the powerful choleric. They judge all life by production. And since the peaceful phlegmatic would rather rest than work, they are often made to feel worthless by the powerful choleric. There you have it. The peaceful phlegmatic wants respect, and they do the opposite for any of the other personalities to respect them. However, we know that God created peaceful phlegmatics, and they are important in our society, as we have demonstrated in previous discussions. The book does not do it, but we're going to go into the Bible and see what it says. Ephesians 5 is often quoted, especially for the wives. So let us look at Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands and everything. We know that is often quoted to the wives. What does it say about the husbands? Verse 25, husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her gave herself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He loves his wife as himself. After all, no one ever hated his own body, but he feeds and cares for it, just as Christ does the church, for we are members of his body. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. This is a profound mystery, but I am talking about Christ and the church. However, each one of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect the husband, whether he deserves it or not. I bring this whole message or passage because as counselors, you will probably be counseling couples. This passage is often quoted, but usually emphasizing the latter part about wives, what wives must do. Marriage is a two-way street. Women basically naturally love, and men usually naturally respect. So what does God do? He commands what is typically not the easy route for a man and a woman. In this book and course, we're talking about innate personality types. We are doing this so that we can better understand ourselves and improve our own behavior, and also better understand how to treat others. What I have found interesting is that peaceful, phlegmatic, emotional need is exactly what others find difficult to give. Ephesians 5 ends with what women are to do toward their husbands. And I bring this up because if a wife is married to a peaceful phlegmatic, it could even be harder. However, the book does help us. First of all, it says, if you work or are married to a peaceful phlegmatic, be sure to notice what they do and how well they do it. This may take some effort in the workplace, as they tend to blend in with the woodwork. You need to listen to them when they speak. They also tend to pause while they're thinking of the next sentence, and you think they're done. Well, it does not mean that they are finished speaking. You need to wait. This in itself shows respect. Then repeat their ideas in your own words so they know you really did listen to them. Thank them for their creativity or thoughtfulness. Then either act upon their idea or explain why it is a great idea, but you don't think it will work right now. The combination of discussing the idea and then either acting upon the plan or explaining why it won't work is an investment in them that shows you respect their thinking. This can greatly improve the relationship. Most peaceful phlegmatics have gone through the feeling that no one ever listens to them. If you listen, you will have a friend for life. And again, I can use myself as an example, being a powerful choleric. My husband's secondary is a peaceful phlegmatic. And yes, we now say over whenever we pause because he's just thinking. And I think he's done. And I start talking and he thinks I've run over him. So really, you need to really listen to a phlegmatic and show respect to them. They truly enjoy working alone and being alone. When the emotional needs of a peaceful phlegmatic are met, they will be faithful and dependable part of the overall picture in your workplace and your marriage. They can be a calming factor for a powerful choleric, but as you can see from the book, it does take some effort on the part of the powerful choleric. The key is to let them know that they are very valuable and respected. Also, as a powerful choleric, I have been guilty of looking at people or husbands by what they get done. This book has actually helped me in being more considerate and a better listener. So if you do go into counseling and you do premarital or marriage counseling, looking at the personality types could be very, very helpful. Do we have any questions on this chapter, Peaceful Phlegmatics? Chapter 17, Putting the Pieces Together. Remember, God created all personality types. When you can find where they fit in your business, family, and relationships, everyone will be much happier. We are now into the fun part, playing with what we have learned. We are not learning this for learning's sake or to pass a test. We are learning this to improve our Christian walk. And as one student said, to improve how he can minister to others, particularly in evangelizing. We have been created in God's image, and God is one of relationship. So how are we doing with your relationships to others? And has this been helping you? Anybody online or in the class?
More attention now to people when I'm working with personal or professional.
So Austin said he pays more attention to people's personality type in work and in your personal relationship. So you're trying to treat them the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated. And if we remember correctly, Aston is a peaceful phlegmatic. So that chapter probably was quite interesting too. It hurt your feelings. What was it? Dangerfield. I get no respect. And remember, men need respect. And when I read about the peaceful phlegmatics, I just kind of laughed. And that's why I put in there that they tend to do the very opposite of getting respect. So, you know, when you're dealing with a peaceful phlegmatic, as I said before, keep them moving. Don't let them stop. And they like to stop because remember, they think they deserve a rest after they've met their goals. So this has been helping you. That's good. Anybody else want to make a comment?
I do.
Okay, good. You're loud and clear, I think.
Okay. Well, it helped me get along better with my daughter, realizing that she's peaceful phlegmatic and that she can't be rushed into things. And, you know, I have to value her thoughts more and her ideas because she gets very upset at me and she doesn't think I think a lot of her. And it just dawned on me when we're doing this, it clicked in my head that, wow, I have tools that I could have a better relationship with her now. And I'm going to try to do that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think everyone heard that she was saying that with her daughter, who's peaceful phlegmatic, that, oh my, she realizes, wait a minute, I haven't been showing her respect. And that's the thing they really want. And
Yeah.
so you're using some of the tools you've learned to listen to her more and maybe praise her more for what she does do.
Yes.
Anybody else would like to add anything? Okay, this book goes into different types of occupations and where each personality type fits in. First is the restaurant business. I think it should be no surprise to us that the combination of a popular sanguine and a powerful choleric make the best waitresses. Can anyone comment as to why they make great waitresses? For some reason, I'm having trouble saying that. Friendly, outgoing. Sanguines are outgoing. Both sanguines and choleric are outgoing. Cholerics can make decisions quickly. Yes, online. What would you like? Okay. That was Donna. Donna, do you have anything to say? How about Paul or Anne?
Who? I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I didn't understand the question.
Okay, for some reason we can't hear you here. So yes, the powerful choleric could help people make decisions. The powerful choleric and sanguines are both outgoing and like people. And so they're going to, you know, maybe make conversation. But we have to be careful because the sanguine can talk too much and not get around to all their customers. Where else could we put the popular sanguine combined with the powerful choleric other than waitress? Where would they be? Remember, they like people. So where else would they be with people? No, in the restaurant business.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, we're still in the restaurant business.
Hostess or host.
Yeah.
Right. Hostess or host. Right. Or the cash desk. Either one, absolutely. They would be pleasant and conversational, yet remember to keep their minds and eyes on the money because they get so involved in conversations that they may forget about the money part. Why does a perfect melancholy who would be very good on the details of waitressing not make a good waitress? Okay, remember, think about a melancholy. They're very detailed, but what do we know about them? Right, they're not the people personality. Remember, the sanguines and cholerics like to get out there and be with people, whereas the melancholy is then the peaceful phlegmatic are happy working alone. And one of the other things I mentioned, do you remember that melancholies can tend to get depressed? And so I wrote in, if they had a bad day and got depressed, they would not want to be around anybody, including customers. So it just gets worse. Would peaceful phlegmatics make good waiters or waitresses? We have Aston, whose primary personality is phlegmatic, but he seems to like people. Why would you make a good waiter or waitress? Waiter. Well, remember, phlegmatics are good listeners. So in that aspect, a phlegmatic could make a good waiter or waitress because they would, you know, they're good listeners. However, during the busy lunch or dinner time, they would not care enough to hurry. They would still be kind of, you know, easygoing, but we could use them effectively on the slower hours. And this was per the book. However, the peaceful phlegmatic prefers not to be around people. So we talked about that. So I am not sure that I agree totally with the book that they would make good waiter or waitresses during the slow time, because they still would prefer not to be around people. Who made the best short order? Let's see. Who made the best short order cooks and why? And that was in the book. What personality? Think of a short order cook. Lots of pressure. They got to get things done fast. So what personality would make a good short order cook? Powerful choleric, because good answer. They're driven, they want to hit goals, and they actually enjoy pressure. Oh, I gotta get this done. And then they're just a go-getter. They like challenges. And there would be new challenges every day, so it would keep them interested as a short order cook. Would peaceful phlegmatics make good cooks?
No,
I don't know.
Because? Okay. However, one thing about the peaceful phlegmatic is they don't get rattled. So they can, because they could be calm when everybody else is getting excited. But we also had, you know, they would make good cooks, probably not the short order cook though, because that's pressure, you know, but otherwise they can keep everyone calm. Let's see. Would the perfect melancholy make a good manager in a restaurant? Think of about a perfect melancholy. Detailed, remember they're very detailed. They like to keep good records. Would the perfect melancholy make a good manager in a restaurant? Anybody else online?
Yes, they would,
Because
they're detail oriented and they'd be able to manage everybody and have everything in order. And the manager stays more in the background and stuff.
excellent. That's exactly right. And they also can have compassion for the waitresses who seem to always have a problem. But that detail, you know, they're going to be very detailed, keep good records, make sure everything's just right. Now we go into personalities. Does anyone have any questions about the restaurant field? Then we go into the personalities in the medical field. Where would a popular sanguine fit in?
Nurse.
Why nurse?
Well, I'm a nurse's aide, and you have to cheer up the people. You have to be, they're so depressed and down and not feeling good. You have to be really cheerful and optimistic to help them get out of their, a lot of them are very depressed and they're in pain. Yeah.
Excellent answer. Because, nurses seem to be overworked and not have time to converse and cheer people up, but that would be excellent when they have the time to do that. Absolutely. The book also said a pediatrician, so they could play with the children because they like to play. Also, they could be the receptionist because they like to talk to people. If they do become doctors in other fields, they need to surround themselves with a perfect melancholy who will help them know where they left their medical charts and be able to hand them what they need at the right time. To be their friend or for them to look well upon you, help them get organized, make them look good, and definitely laugh at their stories. They talk about, I had to laugh when I read this because the secondary is sanguine for me. And I was working on over $1 million, multi-million-dollar sale like 30 some years ago. So that was massive. And I misplaced the file for days. Oh yeah. I had been talking to someone and I left it at their desk and they didn't tell me. So I had to chuckle when they said about, make sure, they need to surround themselves with the perfect melancholy to help them where they left their item. So it is so true because you get so involved in talking with people that everything else is just not there. No, she was more, she was an administrator and more meticulous and so forth. It was on top of her computer. Yeah, I know. Maybe she knew who went to or whatever, but she never told me. And it was like in IBM, you're supposed to clear your desk. I mean, it was a big, it was a pretty confidential file. Anyway, but I can attest to you just get involved in the conversation. And I got involved in a conversation with her and I put it there nonchalantly. And I'm like, where did I put that file? And so, but all of us, that is something for sanguines to be more aware of where you put things. And also recently, instead of saying, I can't find something, which sanguines often misplace stuff, instead I say, where did I put that? And I'm asking God, really, where did I put that? And so I'll just throw in there of really being careful of our words. Because if we speak negative things, that's what we're going to receive. And if we speak positive things, that's what we're going to receive. And since the whole universe was spoken into being by Jesus and we are in his image, our words really have power. So I'm just throwing that in as an extra thing that just be careful of your words. And really, if you catch yourself speaking something negative about yourself, like I'm dying for a piece of chocolate cake or my back is killing me, take those words back, because we don't want your back to kill you. Just be careful of your words. Okay, back on track here. Where do powerful cholerics fit in the medical field? We're still in the medical field after all that. See how sanguines just kind of go off and tell their stories?
The physicians, the doctors.
Powerful choleric as a doctor. Would you want a powerful choleric or a sanguine operating on you?
I want powerful cleric. I think he's got a lot. He better be confident what he's doing.
They be confident what they're doing, but let's make sure that they are very, very detailed in what they're doing. I once heard a story recently about someone, you know, I guess there's anesthetics or something, you're awake during the surgery, and the doctor went, oops. Not exactly a good thing for a doctor to say during surgery. So we have to be careful. So powerful choleric could be a good doctor, yes. And they like people, yes.
So question also, as a doctor, right? That they have goals they want to do, right? And doctors have goals that they want successful surgery, so they want to never lose a patient, like that type of thing. So wouldn't that also kind of build into powerful choleric being doctors? I know you're talking about paying attention to detail, but
Just hopefully that a powerful choleric doesn't have a goal of making X amount of money, and so they want to have extra
well, yeah,
surgery. Right. Yeah. Actually, the book went into, in the book, it talked about it's good for them to start clinics so they have people underneath them. Because remember, they like to have control. Also, in starting a clinic, they like things, you know, new things to do every day. And so starting a clinic, it's going to keep them really busy and going and so forth. And then they're going to want to start the next one because they've reached their goal. They cannot stand incompetence. They just, oh, if someone is not competent, it just, you know, they just really have no value for them. It can be very, you know, debilitating for someone. So the peaceful phlegmatic may work well with them, but make sure they are motivated and paid well. Peaceful phlegmatics may not work well with a powerful choleric because they want to take it easy, and the powerful choleric wants to meet the goal. Also working with a controlling powerful choleric, do not tell them anything, but instead ask what they think. Agree with them if possible, and then add another thought that will make their plan even better. Remember, the powerful choleric needs affirmation and loyalty, and they will never forgive you if, well, hopefully a Christian choleric will, but they do have trouble forgiving you if you embarrass them or plot a mini mutiny. Remember to applaud them for long and tireless hours on the job. And that goes back to, they want to be appreciated. And it's like, appreciate me. Appreciate, the way you can remember it, and the way I remember it anyway, is appreciate me for all my long hours and my hard work and, reaffirm me, tell me I'm doing a good job. And that goes back with what we were just talking about with powerful cholerics. Okay, in the medical field, where would the perfect melancholy fit in? We hinted on that just a few minutes ago.
Maybe they make a better MD.
They would make a better MD, particularly in operations, because they're going to be meticulous. They're going to do all their homework prior to the surgery. Remember, they love graphs, they love details, they love research. So they're going to make sure that, everything is in order, perfect. So if you want someone that's doing a surgery, I think I would rather have a perfect melancholy than a powerful choleric. Because the perfect melancholy is really going to be perfect.
So Karen, did someone say that the perfect melancholy or the powerful choleric would be better administrator, hospital administrator? Is that a better role for them?
The hospital administrator, which personality type?
Powerful choleric.
No. The administrator would be better for the perfect melancholy because they're going to keep all the records correct.
So a
Yeah,
powerful cleric has no business being in the hospital.
Well, I always said we were going to have fun in this class. Well, remember they said they could start clinics because they're going to get it done on time. Okay. Any other comments on that one? Okay, where else would a peaceful phlegmatic fit in the medical field? Records room, absolutely. The book talked about a radiologist, as they can take pictures, but they let someone else bear their responsibility. Also dentists. Now think of a dentist chair, okay? As they are not in life and death situations, and they don't necessarily like to have a conversation, so it's hard. I mean, I even find it hard to talk in a dentist chair, because I'm a sanguine. I like to talk. So, but when you have all those dental tools in your mouth, it's hard to get them to really talk too much to you. I actually had a fairly sanguine dental hygienist, and we actually ended up going kayaking and stuff together. So that was unusual that, we could reconnect that well during having all those tools in your mouth. Right, they could talk, yes, they could hold a conversation. Let's see, personalities, anything else on medical fields? Personalities in network marketing. Since most of us will not be involved in network marketing, I would like to approach this section as a review of personalities. The perfect melancholy makes good teachers because they have ability to educate others, and they substantiate their claims with facts and figures. The peaceful phlegmatic works as much for appreciation as they do for money. However, the peaceful phlegmatic wants greater pay with less work because they love to relax. The perfect melancholy wants pay in proportion to effort. Remember, the powerful choleric is naturally driven to succeed, and the popular sanguine is great in sales, especially combined with the powerful choleric. And we've talked about that many times. because I was the powerful choleric and the sanguine, and I was in sales. Ever since I was about 10 years old, I went door to door selling sweet corn with my brother. So going out there. Personalities in the office. This is one most of us can relate to, as most of us at one time or another has worked in an office. Or we can look at it as in a classroom. The popular sanguines love contact with people and may become the class clown to get attention. Remember, look at me. So, class clown, they want attention. The popular sanguines are good on the phone, up front as receptionists, in sales, creating new ideas, and in personnel, but do not expect them to balance the books. Remember, we talked about they really shouldn't be the ones doing books. They are not good on details, figures, and the right time, but they will keep people happy. And we talked about, the comedian, Bob Newhart, and how he was once an accountant. And he said, hey, we're off by a few cents, who cares? And he did not last too long as an accountant, but he did certainly last as a comedian. The powerful cholerics are goal-oriented, so you want to provide them with a challenge. A combination of the popular sanguine and the powerful choleric with a pleasant personality and purposeful desire is an ideal combination for leadership. The perfect melancholy needs order and does work best when unencumbered by people. They do well in balancing the books, writing letters, and always showing up for work on time. They're reliable. Then we have the peaceful, phlegmatic, who can be great workers if you can motivate them properly. They also do well in a structured environment where the work is spelled out clearly and they can see what they have to do and check it off. Left on their own, they may waste time and they tend to procrastinate. And remember, we talked about the peaceful phlegmatic. If they're working on a project and they come to a stumbling block, oh, okay, I'll just do that tomorrow. It just freezes them. They just stop right there. But and then that's why they procrastinate. However, they are excellent in mediating office problems as they can see both sides objectively. Personalities in teaching. As I stated before, the popular sanguine may become the class clown to get attention. They can become discipline problems as they want to talk more than work, but they can be motivated to keep quiet if you show them how much it would mean to you, because remember, they want to be liked. That's why they're called popular sanguines. They really want to be liked. And that can cause a problems because they can do stuff to be liked, which really they shouldn't be doing. Their weakness is undisciplined, so they need to be frequently reminded about the dates for a large project. A list is good for them to show what is expected of them if they do not lose it. And we just talked about losing stuff. The little powerful choleric is motivated to get things done on time. And the problem comes when they get done before everybody else in the classroom and can be disruptive as they want to start to talk. Remember, they like people. So, okay, I'm done. Let's talk to somebody. As expected, the perfect melancholy loves projects with details. They will go off to themselves and work quietly to achieve the goal. Remember, the perfect melancholy has a tendency to get depressed, so one needs to be careful not to offend them. The peaceful phlegmatic may blend into the wallpaper and can easily be neglected in the teaching situation. They will behave well, won't stir up trouble. Paul, you're not a peaceful phlegmatic, right?
I am to a degree. I am to a degree.
Okay. To a degree, yes, you had a lot of good qualities straight across the board and will be consistently pleasant. However, they rarely show enthusiasm and will want to work on a big project in their own time. They tend to be stubborn. That's the peaceful phlegmatic. And I see a peaceful phlegmatic shaking their head up and down in the classroom here.
Would that be Aston? Would that be Aston?
That would be Aston, the peaceful
Oh,
phlegmatic.
man.
Yes,
knew it. I
You
knew it.
guessed it.
I
You
knew it.
guessed it. So how has the study of personality types helped you either in business, at home, or with other people in general? And we did talk about that a little bit. Anybody else want to add anything to what we talked about a little bit earlier?
What was the question again about how is understanding the personalities a benefit? Is that the question?
Yes, has it helped you in business, at home, or with other people in general?
Yeah, I think I'm starting to think about when I interact with people, kind of what category that they kind of fall into or categories they fall into. And from there, it's a question of, what do you want to achieve? Do you want them to understand, kind of understand you so you take a certain approach, or do you want them, do you see, some opportunities for growth? Then you take, then you could, take a different approach to whether or not, they should be doing something or doing what they're doing or doing something else. So it's been very interesting for me anyway.
Yes, and in business, particularly if you're in sales, I tended to like the details, remember, caloric sanguine, but my melancholy was almost as high as my sanguine. And melancholies tend to be good in math. Remember, they like details. They tend to be very good in math. And I tended in sales to give very details and graphs and numbers and so forth. But the powerful choleric is going to pick up on that real quick, and they're not going to want real details, and they're going to want to make that decision fast. Whereas if you're trying to sell a perfect melancholy, they're going to eat up those numbers. They're just going to love those numbers. And that's going to be how you're going to sell them, because they want to know the detail. The peaceful phlegmatic is kind of a hard sell, but the sanguines are the easiest sales, people to sell to. And we're going to, the last few chapters do get into that a little bit more, of who makes up the easier people to sell to, who are the harder people to sell to. We know cholerics make decisions fast. So we'll get more into that next week. So this week, it's going almost at 7, and we were going to talk about Pastor Lisa's personality, and we can do that. But otherwise, we didn't have a lot more to do tonight, because we've gone over personalities. And so let's talk about what we think Pastor Lisa's personality is and why. So I'm not going to give you a break. I'm just going to go straight through for a few more minutes, and then we'll be finished for the evening, versus giving you a break and then we come back for a few minutes.
The obvious is she's a sanguine.
And why?
to state the obvious. Why? I mean, she is a people person inside and out, 100%.
I think we all agree with that, her primary is sanguine. That's so obvious.
I think it's secondary is tough. That either, you know, I want to say peaceful, but I also think she likes to take charge too. I think she might be sanguine and powerful choleric.
Okay, Austin is agreeing with you, Paul.
Where is
Anybody-
he? Where's Aston? Aston, get out of line. I want to see your face. Come stand next to Karen.
Yeah, he's in the background, the peaceful phlegmatic.
Get up front.
Talk about peaceful. Look to your left.
All right, Aston agrees. That's a smart move, Aston.
Okay, yes. I happen to know her personality type and I had permission to talk about it, so it's fine. Absolutely. Definitely a very, very strong sanguine. She loves to go around and talk to people and you know, on Sunday morning, if she talks, she just, you know, goes about and definitely sanguine in every which way. And the powerful choleric as a secondary, yes, that is absolutely on target, both of you. And because, okay, you were saying she likes to take control, she likes to lead. Remember, she's also a pastor here. Now, I'm going to ask her, let you think about something. Pastor Bruce, primary is a powerful choleric, secondary sanguine, and we decided that because he loves to tell jokes. And the melancholy was a culture, you know, because so that he could be successful, trained kind of thing. And we have Pastor Lisa, who is a popular sanguine and as a secondary powerful choleric. How does that match? Think about it. I see some wheels turning here.
Whatever, I agree with whatever Aston says.
He's still thinking. Remember, he's the peaceful phlegmatic. So it's going to take a little.
I think there's potential for conflict, but there's also potential for complete unity between the two. I think you've got you could. You know, they've got opposite strengths and weaknesses as far as also could be butting heads if their personalities, if they're strong, if they're both, you know, going for this, trying to get the same space in the same place at the same time.
You both are absolutely correct. You've got powerful choleric and as a primary for Pastor Bruce, and a powerful choleric as secondary for Lisa. And remember, we talked about powerful cholerics, both want to take control, both want to be in charge, both, you know, strong personality, and they can really butt heads. And yes, it was something they both had to work on so that they did not butt heads. I told Peter the other day, if I was married to a powerful choleric, we'd probably kill each other. So you have to be careful. And so they realized that. And like you were saying, Paul, that they could work together. And notice how, you know, they take on different projects. Okay, like Pastor Lisa now is taking on this project, and okay, being the powerful choleric, what does she want? What do powerful cholerics want? They want a new project. They're always looking for the next goal, the next goal, the next goal. And we have to be careful on that to make sure we complete a goal. And maybe God wants us to move farther and develop that particular objective. But yes, to power yeah, I'm very pleased because you all were very on target tonight. Because I was asking a lot of questions and you had to think about what we had already learned. So this has been excellent. Any other questions about tonight? Okay, next week, read chapters 18, 19, and 20. That finishes the book. So chapter 18 is about advertising and selling. And since we are to spread the gospel, when you read chapter 18, I want you to be thinking about how you would spread the gospel to the different personality types. And please bring those thoughts to the class next week to share. And remember, sometimes we are sowing the seed and sometimes we will see the harvest. Also, I'm going to go back to chapter 19. For those who, well, the graduate students have to do the writing, looking at the description of your job with an insight of understanding the personality puzzle, and refer to page 169. And I really believe this is a good assignment. To be honest, I'm going to do it. I haven't done it yet. It's a good assignment for all of us to do, particularly as we look at our weaknesses, where we look at our personality types and say, okay, this is a weakness I have. And that way, if you recognize something, you can work on it. So any other questions tonight? Yes. We have the peaceful phlegmatic in class asking that they can have an extension.
Nice. Nice one, Aston. Extend
Yes.
it till Christmas.
There's a lot to talk about next week. I know we're getting out early tonight. We've gotten out early some nights. So the plan is this, so y'all know, is that if we don't have time to talk about that next week, we ran out of time. On the last class, it's going to be pretty well open discussion and some ideas. One idea that has been given something to do in the last class is to everyone in the class and online, we go through all the questions, all the personality questions that we have, and see where each of us would put Jesus and why. So I thought that was a good suggestion. And when I prepared this class, I really felt I was supposed to not do any of the chapters the last class, but do more participation. And if we don't get into the chapter 19 of people talking about, you know, what they wrote and where they can improve, then we also have, oh, the other thing I thought you might like to do is to take the personality test and give it to some of your friends or family and have them evaluate you. And I think that'll be interesting because we see ourselves one way, but how do our friends and relatives view us? So that's a good one. The other thing is you can also give the personality test to friends and family and see if you have figured out what personality type they are. So we will do chapters 18, 19, and 20 next week. And then the following week, and I think we'll take up hopefully the full time next week, because we'll have activity, more participation. And then the final week, we'll have some other things to kind of review. And then for the last class, there will be a final to take, because there will not be some certain chapters. So any question about where we've been or where we're going?
Karen, when is the date of the last class? Could you give me the date? October
19th.
19th? Okay, because I'm getting confused. Thank you.
Next
said.
week,
Thank you.
next week is the seventh class. And then the following week will be the 8th class, which is the final class. And then we have a week off. And then we're going to do another book. And I really, next week, I'll let you know what the book is. I don't have it with me, and I don't remember the title and so forth. But I do know what book we will be doing the second term. And it's more in counseling and understanding how to counsel. So that's a direction we're actually going to be going for the next 2 terms, is we have chosen those, and we have not chosen the final term yet this school year.
Is the next book in print or is it out of print? We got to go search for it on eBay.
I think it's going, I bought it as a used book. I don't think it's still in print, but I'm not 100% sure. Good question. Can't answer it tonight.
Aston buy 2. You know I need one. Aston gets his books first.
I'm on.
Okay, anything else? And I'll bring that next week. I got to make myself a note. Make sure I do that. Anything else? If not, we'll end in prayer. Would anyone else other than me like to end in prayer? Volunteer? Okay, George. Good. Thank you.
Almighty and true Father, maker of the universe, give you honor and praise and glory. We thank you for the abundance that you put into our life. We thank you for the teaching that we are given at this church, and the insight into your wisdom and your life and your ways. We appreciate this and give you all the honor in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Class. Great class tonight, Karen.
Oh, see, I need that encouragement. Thank you. He's learning well.
I have one recommendation, Karen. I have one recommendation. For next class, I know, and maybe for next semester, if you adjusted your computer and table a little bit to your left, you could get the screen in behind you, so we wouldn't have to run. Yes, there you go. Perfect.
The only thing is, it's backwards.
No, it is not for me. It doesn't. No, not for us online. It's not backwards.
Oh, really? Because I had been doing that, and then I looked at it and I said, "Oh, it's
No,
not."
it only looks backwards on your end. On our end, it's perfectly fine.
Yes, because I had been doing it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, because
Yeah.
I don't obviously see it.
Perfect. That'd be great for next
Yeah.
semester.
Yeah, that's how I'll do it then. That's
Okay, thank
that's easy. Thank you for the recommendation. Really appreciate it. We've got to figure out how to get us all off of Zoom. Because we did have technical, Gabby wasn't here tonight.